Welcome to the Over 40 Alpha Podcast with your host, Funk Roberts.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 63 of the Over 40 Alpha Podcast. This is your host, Funk Roberts. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a former professional athlete who turned online fitness trainer, master metabolic trainer. I'm an Amazon best-selling author. I've been highlighted on ABC, NBC, CBS, ABC, and all of those affiliates. I've trained UFC fighters. Got tons and tons of programs. I'm known around the world, though, as the guy who helps men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond get in the best shape of their life through naturally increasing your testosterone, boosting your metabolism, losing weight, improving your health, and getting it done using my pillars of mindset, recovery, nutrition and workouts, and of course, supplementation in the end. And today I'm excited because today I have an awesome guest. This is one you don't want to miss. This is one that you do not want to miss when it comes to I could use the word fanboy or fanning out or whatever, but I don't mind being a fanboy or fanning out, because what that does is it shows that you appreciate the person who you are fanboying out about, right? I appreciate this guy. I considered myself the black version for many years growing up to this man. Oh, there you go. There you go. That's Siri popping in. See how Siri's all up in it. And so, on today's podcast, we have Clark Bartram. And Clark has been in my life since high school. So I'm 52 years old. So since the 80s, Clark has been in my life. And he's never met me before. He was in my life on a TV show called Kiana's Flex Appeal. And then he had his own show after, where they would work out on Hawaii, on the sands of Hawaii, just do these bodybuilding workouts, awesome workouts. And it was just so compelling. At first, it was just about looking at Kiana, but then the workouts were awesome. You would go to the gym and you would do the workouts that they would do, right? It was on TSN or ESPN. And so that was in the 80s. And then, just throughout my life, my career, and being in the fitness industry, Clark is a fitness legend, right? He's an icon. He's a celebrity trainer. He's trained professional athletes. He's a bodybuilding champion. He's graced all the covers like Iron Man, Messalem Fitness, Muscle Media, Natural Body Bodybuilding. I was just on the cover of Fitness Magazine. He was Batman in a movie. He was Batman in a movie. Okay, like that's insane. Okay, Batman. Okay, look up his name, Clark Bartram. I don't know if it wasn't one of the, but he was Batman in a movie. He's an author, and he's created many fitness programs. He's the owner and creator of Nano Test Supplement Company and his Nano Test Nation. He's an entrepreneur, business owner. But the most important thing about having Clark on this podcast wasn't to talk to him about how how he influenced me throughout my life, because he did influence me. I used to see him on covers and be like, yeah, that's what I want to do. He did stuff for other companies where they hit men over 40, and I would always be like, always drawn to him. I was drawn to his he was very transparent with what he talked about with his life. You know what I mean? Like, and he lived the life. He lived it, breathed it, and is a very good coach and trainer. And so the reason why I'm having him on this podcast today is because he's also on a crusade to helping men in their 50s or 60s or 70s and beyond get in the best shape of their lives. That's that. So instead of walking side by side trying to really tackle this epidemic of low testosterone, men in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s being feminized. It's not cool to be, have testosterone. It's not cool to be a man. You know what I mean? They're trying to suppress us. We have to do what we can to spread the message and give the programs that will help us boost our testosterone, lose weight, get in the best health, so we can be the kings of our kingdoms, right? That's the big thing for us. That's literally what we need to be, the kings of our kingdoms. We're here to procreate, provide, and protect our families. We need to be fathers. We need to be husbands. We need to be in the community. We need to be grandparents, grandfathers. And the only way to do that is if we have the best health. So me doing this all by myself is not realistic. There's other guys out there. Last podcast episode, 2 podcasts ago, you met Anthony from Fit Father. Today, you're going to meet Clark Bartram, has the Nano Test Nation, doing the same thing. And it's about collectively doing this, collectively spreading this message, collectively helping men. And that's what we have to do collectively. Remember, one of the biggest things for me is that community, that support. So we have to continue to use everything that we have and work together to get our manhood back. So I'm so excited to have Clark Bartram on. If you don't know who he is, you can pause this right now and go look him up. Go look him up. He's a master. Just look at the images if you can. Clark Bartram. Anyways, I'm so excited to have this guy on because he is, he's now a friend, a very good friend. I consider him a good friend. We're doing things, helping each other, and it's incredible just to think about. Like, if you gotta sit down and really think about this, that like, if I thought about watching this guy in 1986 or whatever it was, at home, and just watching this guy and thinking that, 30 years later, 40 years later, we'd be, kind of not working together, but doing this. No way. There's no way that would happen. You know what I mean? If you look back at it. And it's not something that I intentionally did. It just, we were both doing kind of like the same thing. And, it was the right time. So you guys are going to love this podcast episode, man. You're going to learn so much. He's got just as much, if not more, passion behind helping men over 40. When you have guys who have the passion to help you, man, you got to cling on. You got to cling on. You can't be program jumping anymore. If you're in your late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you can't be program jumping anymore, man. You got to jump on people who are doing something for you, for the man over 40, 50, 60, 70, for even the late 30s, the man who's going to help you, or the person who's going to help you naturally boost testosterone, who has your health, your results is their first mission. That's what it is for Clark. That's what it is for me. And that's what it is for Anthony. It's your results that are number one. Everything else comes secondary. So please, I'm not even going to pitch anything. I just want you to listen. I just want you to listen to this podcast and see for yourself how powerful this guy is, and what we're going to do, what he's going to do in helping men regain their manhood. So enjoy the podcast. We are live, and welcome to episode number 63 of the Over 40 Alpha podcast. And this one is a special one. This one right here in the heart, baby. This is a really special podcast episode. I'm super excited to have this man on. But first, before we get into him, I gotta introduce you to who this man is. Like, I'm gonna do the introduction on what I know about our guest, the man on this podcast episode. I didn't even have to look anything up. Okay, so that's how deep I am with this man. So first, Clark Bartram, he's our guest. He's a fitness legend. He's a fitness icon. He's a celebrity trainer. He's trained professional athletes, bodybuilding champion. He's graced many covers of fitness magazines, Iron Man, Muscle and Fitness, Muscle Media. I have a ton of them back at home in my parents' basement. He's an actor. I think he did something with Batman as a body. He's been on TV. If you remember Kiana's Flex Appeal. He's creator of fitness programs. He's the only, which is a testosterone boosting supplement. But he's an entrepreneur and business owner. But the most important thing is that this man is on a crusade of helping men in their 40s, probably late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s get into the best shape of their lives. A crusade does that sound familiar to you guys? Right? We instead of, we're both on the same, we both have the passion of helping men, who you guys listening to this. So instead of doing it separately, we try to lock arms. I had Fit Father on last week. I've got Clark on this week. because that is the crusade that needs to happen. So, ladies, gentlemen, men over 40, I'd like to introduce to you Clark Bartram. I am the black Clark Bartram. So here we go. What's up,
I
buddy?
am the white Funk Roberts. So let's go. We are connected, brother, and I'm so happy and so privileged and so excited to be here today because, like you said, we are on a mission. But before I get into this too much, I think it is amazing that this is episode number 63 because that happens to be the year that I was born. So there is something here that is going to be much bigger than what is face value. So I want everybody who's watching this to try and get away any distraction that you might have, any noise that's in the background, any disbelief that you might have in me or anything yourself for that matter. Please, for a moment, let those walls down. Open your heart, because I promise you, between the two of us, there is enough information here and even more than you could ever consume in your life to absolutely transform every aspect of who you are as a human operating on this planet. Now, you notice I didn't say about six-pack abs. That is an ancillary and a side benefit of what you and I do, my brother.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's amazing. And that's exactly what it is. Just open your mind and listen, because you are going to learn so much in this episode. The first thing we're going to learn, though, is about Clark, because a lot of you guys may be going, okay, this is a great intro to this guy, but who is this guy? How do you get started in this whole journey, Clark? You've done so much.
Yeah. So there's two answers to that question. One is the spiritual answer, and the other is the business answer. And at some point in my life, those collided. And I think they've collided more today and now and at this stage in my life than they ever have, because I get it. I understand it, that from a young age, I was called, I was set apart. I was on a path that led me to today, which, like you said, has caused me to walk in a flow to this business that both you and I are doing, helping men over the age of 50, 40, 60, whatever, live in their healthiest body. So when I was young, I was an athletic guy like everybody else. I did all this stuff. And then at the age of 17, I decided I wanted to join the Marine Corps. And that's really where things started to shift for me. I looked at every branch of the armed services and I thought, I want to be the best. I want to be the baddest. I want the hardest challenge. And I want that dress blue uniform, because to me, that was amazing, man. So I, at the age of 17, with my cousin, joined the Marine Corps, went to Parris Island, South Carolina, excelled in boot camp, graduated at the top of my class meritoriously and with honors and all that sort of stuff, went into the Fleet Marine Force, and then started rugby in the Marine Corps and got the opportunity to travel around the world, playing different countries, and had a great time playing rugby with the Marine. So I didn't really have to do my job so much. I kind of had it made. But during that time, it really honed me as a fitness professional. And that's where I got my start, in all honesty, because what happens in the Marine Corps is you'll eat lunch, you'll go to chow hall, and then typically guys hit the rack. So you eat chow, you hit the rack. So you eat and sleep. Well, I didn't eat and sleep. I ate and then went and I exercised. So during lunch break, when guys were sleeping, I didn't know anything about fitness so much, right? In high school, we were on the universal gym lifting and that sort of stuff. But other than Henry McGee, I didn't have any real formal training in weightlifting. So I was doing pull-ups, 20 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, 19 pull-ups, 19 push-ups, all the way down. And one day my commanding officer came to me and said, Bartram, hey, we got whole fat bodies is what they called them in the Marine Corps. I don't think they can call them that anymore. But we got a couple guys that are going to get kicked out because they don't meet the height weight requirement. And it was really odd because they measure your neck and your hips and it's so outdated. But he said, will you help them get in shape? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. And he said, just have them do whatever you're doing. So I worked with these guys and they lost the weight and they stayed in. And then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I needed a job. So I went to the local fitness center, which was Family Fitness. Back then, it's 24-hour fitness now. And I got a job as a trainer and then a counselor and then a assistant manager, then a manager, and worked my way through the system and ended up owning gyms. And then from there, I owned a sheepskin store on the seashore. I sold sheepskins by the seashore.
Wait, what state is this in? Where are you? What
I'm
state?
in California.
Okay, so this is Okay.
Yeah, so I left Ohio, went to Parris Island, South Carolina, ended up at Camp Pendleton,
Right,
California.
okay.
And then after I got out, I'm standing there in this sheepskin store, and a friend that I had managed gyms with walks by, and he goes, "Hey, they're auditioning for this TV show on ESPN called Kiana's Flex Appeal. Do you want to go audition?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
Right.
So I went and auditioned, knocked it out of the park, got that part, ended up doing a few seasons with her, ended up getting my own show. And then I started, I was bodybuilding at the time and saw a bunch of photographers at the back of the stage taking pictures of guys. And I thought, I'm as good looking as these guys. I'm as fit as these guys. The ego jumped in. And then I got in a little picture in Muscle and Fitness. And, I work hard. I see something that I want. I go after it. I don't quit. I keep trying. And it's still to this day, getting in business now for myself and really doing something 100% on my own, I'm having to really apply all of what I've learned throughout those years, now more than ever. So it's, and then the business part of it was, look, I can't be a spokesperson forever. I can't lend my credibility, my passion, my purpose to somebody else's brand because they weren't always aligned with who I was and what I wanted to do. So I had to bet on myself at some point and go, you know what? If I believe in me, if I know that my message is as strong as I believe it is, and I know that I was created for it, it's time to go. So I walked away from everything and started doing my own thing. And here I am, man. And I just wrote a huge check for a ton of inventory from Nano Test. Think of it, brother.
I know it sucks having to write those checks sometimes. It's like, that it's for something good and it's going to go to a, it's going to get into good hands. But man, having to write, it's like, it's tough, man. That was great. I mean, I didn't know you were in the Marines. And yeah, just like you said, you just kept going. You could see when the opportunities were presented to you, you actually jumped in. A lot of people, I mean, I don't know the actual flow of what your thought process was, but just on a high level, seeing the fact that you jumped in on all of those little opportunities that became big opportunities, right? They were little, but you worked it to become big. And then
that to me is the key. Sorry to cut you off, but it's the key.
No.
This is kind of the mission that I'm on now. In advertising, we understand the phrase call to action. And I'm on this big pitch. I know you watch my lives and things, and I've been talking a lot lately about a call to action because I'm a guy that's an action taker. I mean, the day I decided to join the Marine Corps at 17, here's how it went down. I woke up from partying all night long. I was sitting there in the morning. I was 17. My cousin was 23. I was working in a hospital. He was working at a gas station. We were smoking a joint, drinking a Michelob Light. And I looked at him and said, "What are you going to do for the rest of your life?" He's like, "I don't know. What are you going to do?" I said, "I don't know. You want to join the Marine Corps?" He's like, "Sure." When? Now. Yeah. Poured it out, finished the beer, went to the recruiting station right that moment. And every day since, that's what I've done. I hear my wife out there. I saw my wife at the gym. She was weighing herself on the scale. I'm like, damn, I'm going to marry that girl. What I do? I walked right up to her and asked her to go out. She said no, but I kept trying, and I kept pushing. And here we are 34 years later, still married.
Unbelievable. That I just got goosebumps because the way you are, we are the same. Because that's the way I am. I'm a now person. I will literally just do exactly what you said. Oh yeah, we should do this. No, let's just do it. Let's go. Let's do this now. Oh, I want to do a retreat in Thailand. Oh, okay. Honey, we're doing it. No, not I want to. We're doing a retreat in Thailand. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're doing it. And this is the date, and this is what we're doing. And that's kind of the way I've been in my journey. Exactly like that. It's just go. Just go. You make the decision, you take the action, the call to action. And you go and you'll figure it out on the way. Obviously, some planning needs to happen, but man, that's so incredible. That's so incredible. Now, I have been following you again since watching Kiana Flex Appeal. That was one of the catalysts to really putting the stamp that I was going to play professional beach volleyball, and not focus more on indoor because I wanted to be on the beach. And I saw how ripped you are and shredded everyone was. And then I saw you, of course, and I was reintroduced to you when you were with Six Pack Abs doing the over 40. I believe you were doing over 40. and really dove into like that's also another catalyst that I decided to go, oh, you know what? I can't do burpees all the time. I can't do burpees till I'm 50, 60, 70, 80s. I need to focus more on men who I can relate to. So talk to me about that shift between from wherever you were to, now focusing on over 40. Did something happen to you personally that allowed you to think, oh, I better start focusing more on how to get our testosterone up or what, that type of stuff?
Yeah, I got old.
Yeah, okay.
Like, George Foreman used to say, I'm closer to 60 than I am 50. And when you think about that as an athlete, in your mind, as capable as you are at the age of 52, so any young person, I want you to listen that's watching right now. In our mind, in Funk's mind and my mind right now, the number 52 and 57 do not calculate. They just don't calculate in our brain because of the high functioning capability we have, but also the fact that we live this youthful existence. So I feel more comfortable around a 25-year-old guy playing football, catching a pass, throwing a ball, than I do around a 57-year-old guy. But what I saw was both demographics looking. So here I am in the middle. I got these older guys looking, I got the younger guys looking, and it happened one day on a football field. Legitimately, it came to me on a football field, and this is how it went down. So I go, my son was a pretty high-level quarterback. He received a full ride scholarship to play in Southern Illinois. And so I would be out on the field with him every weekend, and I hired a quarterback coach. So he and I started a little camp together. So I would be out there running routes for the quarterbacks because they need somebody to catch. So here I am at the age of over 40, because that was around that time that you were talking about that all of this was happening. So you got Pop Warner, you've got junior high, high school, some college guys, and even some pro guys that would come through. And here I am lined up, run a slant, boom. And I would do some crazy, to this day, one-handed catches, and I'm that guy. Woo, yeah, let's go, come on, yeah. And people are looking at me like, dude, the kids on the field loved me, the dads on the sidelines hated me.
Totally.
Hated me because I was doing what they wanted to do. And I could see it in their eyes. And there was one dad in particular. I ran this route. It was a dig route where you come up, you come in, and you come across straight. And the ball was thrown in a way where I drifted up the field a little bit. I caught it, and I was running, and I came to the sidelines, and the dad looked at me, and he said this. It was the stupidest thing I've ever heard. He said, "Oh, you think that was good? The safety would have blown you up on that play." I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? I'm an old ass man out here running around with kids just playing. And it was your son that threw the ball that led me upfield. Go talk to him. Come on. But I realized it wasn't about anything but him not able to live in the body that he wanted to live in because he was a former player himself. And so he was sitting there stuck literally and figuratively on the sidelines of life. And then I'm like, this is it. These men need an example. And I don't care what they think. I don't care what they say. I know in their heart, they're going, I wish I could play with my son like that. I've thrown over 1 million passes to my son. And I am grateful for that. And I still, on Sundays, go out and play catch. Even though my son's not going anymore, I show up. And when the coach saw me the other day, he said, Clark, my heart started beating so fast when I saw you walk onto the field because I know the energy, the enthusiasm, the motivation, and the inspiration that you bring. And that's what I want to bring to men over 50. Right. And I'm going to do it my way. And you can either get on board or you don't have to get on board. But if you don't get on board, you're going to be left. You know what I mean? And you are the same way. So we're either going to blow people up or blow them out. You know what I mean? Or they're going to come in and join us.
Yeah, my biggest the thing I always say is you're either in or in the way, and that's it. You're either in or if you're in the way, move, get out the way, because we've got a whole bunch of men who are about to completely transform themselves. So yeah, let's talk about your Nano Test System. Let's talk about how. Listen, you're talking a big game right now. This is what you want to do, and this is how you're going to do it. How are you going to do? What are the pillars, or what are the foundational things that men over 40 who are listening to this now, guys are listening now, okay, I'm feeling this energy, I'm feeling it. Talk to me, Clark. How do I do this? How do I get off the sidelines? What do I do?
Well, you take action, right? call to action. So I am calling you to take action right now. You get off the sidelines by taking one step over that line. There is a physical line on the sideline. They're 52 yards and a quarter apart, right? And you can take one step over it and be actually on the playing field. You might be near the sideline, but this is a metaphor and a visual to help you understand that you can walk out towards the middle of that field, that little crest that's out there. It used to be on the old fields, but it's a process. And most guys, unfortunately, are going to run out there with this enthusiasm that they can't maintain or sustain. So what I would say is you take that step, then you listen to your coach. So whether you're doing it with Funk, me, or any of the other few guys that are out there really doing this the right way, listen. Don't kill yourself by saying, oh, I used to play ball in college, or I was this, or I was that. You're not anymore. You have to have an honest conversation with yourself about where you're currently at. And it's totally okay, because we're all at a different fitness level. I want to get to another level. You know what I mean? So, and then you had mentioned principles. I have these 5 lifestyle principles that I teach. So every time someone orders, they get this card that goes out, and on the back, there's a place for them to write their commitment.
Ooh, love
so
it.
The 5 lifestyle principles are mindset, meals, movement, community, and supplementation in that order. So mindset, as you know, Funk, is the single most important aspect of any of this, because to get on any playing field, if your mind is not set to go out there and perform to your level, then you're not really going to do this effectively or consistently, and you're going to jump off and quit and say, oh, there I go again, I can't do this. You can do it. I don't care what age you are, you can do it, but we've got to set our minds. And there's ways to do that, and you teach that, I teach that. Then meals, I put second, because if your mind's not set, you can get on any meal plan you want, but if you're not set to do that consistently, then it's not going to follow through. So we both know ways to eat that are proven by science, not by us, by a lot smarter people than we are. We look at the research, we study it, and that's a whole nother topic that I would like to talk to you about on a different time. And then movement, right? There's a way to move. Like you inspired me too. There's a couple ways that you've inspired me here just recently that I want to share with you. And then community, you've got a growing community much bigger than mine. I've got a growing community, but being around like-minded men, that's why your teammates when you were playing volleyball, I mean, those guys will be in your heart forever. They're part of your just who you are now, because you've invested. Guys I was in the Marine Corps with, man, I still, like, to this day, one of my Marine Corps buddies, and this is another reason I do this, one of my Marine Corps buddies right here, I spoke at his funeral. This is the age that we're at. You know what I mean? And I keep this with me, and it reminds me that there are people out there, and he's not the only one. So when you're in a community of like-minded people, like that guy, I will never forget for as long as I live, because we invested time together in the Marine Corps. There were good times, there were bad times, in the dirt, in the rain, in different countries. And then supplementation is vitally important, because we need the nutrients, the micronutrients that we're lacking in food and all that sort of stuff. So when you combine all 5 of these and not expect one pathway to get you to where you want to go, you're using all 5 of these, and you have similar ones, and you put those together, they converge to you being a healthier version of yourself. It's not a hard thing to do. And people often ask me, Clark, what's more important, intensity or consistency? Consistency is more important all day long. You can be intense one day, but then you're too sore for 7 days and you can't do anything. What good is that?
Exactly.
So I measure my workouts accordingly. But 2 things you inspired me in. One, I've changed my community name because I saw a little body language in you the other day that I picked up on instantly. When you were saying the Nano Test Performance System for Men Elite Members Group, you kind of chuckled a little bit and thought to yourself, that's too damn long, Clark. You need to shorten that. I read your mind. I know exactly what you were thinking. I'm like, you know what? You're right. We had this conversation that
without even having it.
Without even having it. So now, because of your inspiration and your conversation with me, it is now called the Nano Test Nation. We are putting together a group of and you inspired that, my friend, without saying a word. That's what a good coach does. A good coach looks at you like, really? And look, I'm getting chills right now because this stuff is real. And this is what I'm telling guys. When you get outside of yourself and listen with your heart, you're like, damn, these guys are onto something right here. And then another thing too is I've always done it, but now I'm more conscious of what I'm doing with this whole metabolic conditioning, because, you know, as a bodybuilder, as a fitness model, or whatever you want to call me, I've focused on the aesthetics, and I've done these intense workouts a lot, but now I am really coupling them in a way that is purposeful and intentional and meaningful. So to give you an example, today is leg day. So I did my traditional bodybuilding leg workout. I did leg press, squats, leg extensions, hamstring curls. But then afterwards, my metabolic conditioning workout is every day I will push the sled, which I hate. Yeah. I always go to the thing I hate the most. I push that sled 10 sets, and you know, my heart rate is through the roof. I'm resting for a short period of time. And today I had the opportunity to do this, and I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I got to get back there. I'm like, no, I'm doing them both. And you know what I'm doing? I'm adding more weight. I put extra 10 pounds on each side, and I did that, and I got it done quicker because I had to get out. So now I feel like I did it. I didn't punk out. I got my metabolic conditioning in. I got my bodybuilding in, and now I'm here doing this podcast with an awesome group, dude.
That's awesome. That's amazing, man. The Nanotest Nation is beautiful. That's exactly. That's totally it. And those filthy animals, which is what they call themselves. I love that, man. Yeah, the metabolic training too is a way to, you know, get that workout in. You know, bodybuilding workout. Finisher with the metabolic training, you know, keep that metabolism going. Yeah, man, that's incredible. You know, one of the things you talked about was that community. And I think for men who are our age, you know, a lot of times we shy away from, you know, being vulnerable, right? And you touched on a couple of things. You touched on when you are in a community with people who are on the same journey as you, whether it was a professional sports team, whether it was in the Marines, whether it was wherever you were, they're always going to be in your heart. You always have so many memories, but you always have that we went through the trenches together in whatever way it is. When you have a community of men who are doing the same program together, who are on the same journey, they may not be at the same point, but they're on that same journey. It should allow you to be very vulnerable, right? Your community, my community, I preach vulnerability, because the one thing that every one of those men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, everyone is on the same journey. So a guy who's in like phase 10, when someone who just starts posts something that says, oh, today's workout was really, really tough, and it's a phase 1 workout, you know what the guy in phase 1 says? He goes, yep, I remember that workout, brother. Yes, don't worry, keep going. Instead of, oh, suck it up, man. Like, you know, you got to be, it's a beginning workout, suck it up. That's the type of camaraderie that you can rebuild in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, when you have a community of men who are vulnerable and listen to, you know, their coach, right? That's the key. We're not vulnerable enough, but when you can have that, I'm telling you, it opens up your ability to reach your potential, right? To reach in your 40s, 50s, 60s, because we haven't reached our potential. A lot of us are digressing, right? A lot of men are digressing. What's going on with testosterone? Let me know about what's going on with testosterone. You know?
Yeah, first with the vulnerability thing, I preach that big time. I post Brene Brown. I get vulnerable. You've seen the post. Yes. I'm authentic. I'm real. I cry. I have ads that I run on YouTube with me crying. Yeah. And I will tell you one in particular. I was getting up on a Saturday morning to do my Zoom call, and it was when I just launched Nano Test. And I had like a little pyramid stack of the product. And I was sitting there and I was looking back, and my dad always used to tell me, he said, son, he was a salesman. He sold cash registers. So I would ride around in the car with him. He would go into a 7-Eleven or a bar or an Elks Club or whatever and service those sales that he made. And he said, listen, he goes, it doesn't matter who's on the other side of that door, whether I agree with or disagree or like them, if they're black, white, doesn't matter. You go in there. If they paid you for a service, you better outperform the money that they paid you for that service. Do you understand me, boy? And I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. And that was how I addressed my dad till the day he died. I even kissed the lips till the day he died. Mm-hmm. And I remember that. I mean, that is what drives my business. I outperform the, you know, no one pays. My group is free for these guys to get in. So I way outperform that. So the ad was, I had that stacked up and I was getting ready for the Zoom call, and it just, all of that hit me. And I just began to weep, man. And I was crying. I said, you know what? This is a moment that men need to see. So I grabbed my phone, I put it on my tripod, and I cried. And I talked about how that conversations that I would have with my dad as a young man have impacted me. And this is how I'm building my business. And I wish my dad was here to see this, you know?
Yeah.
So many guys responded to that in such a positive way. I'm like, this is how you lead. You lead by being someone who's unafraid to show that you're not perfect. You know, people put you on a pedestal. People put me on a pedestal. We sit there sometimes at night going, damn, if they knew. Well, I tell them.
Yeah, me too.
I let them know. I
totally.
let them know.
Totally.
I ain't hiding anything from anyone. So
yeah,
with testosterone, we're in agreement on the fact that we believe the real pandemic is low T in men. Right. And the fact that we are being emasculated in so many different ways, and we're allowing it. And the call to action that we're giving is no. I wore this shirt for a reason. Andrizo means play the man in Greek, man up. So I was choosing a shirt to wear. I'm like, do I wear my Nanotech shirt? And I saw this shirt and I'm like, no, this is the shirt to wear. Andrizo, man up, play the man, be the part, step in the gap for your family, be that guy. Don't let this world tell you that you're being a toxic man if you're being strong and powerful, because being strong and powerful is not being a jerk, or like you said on my Zoom call, you know, just a jerk to people. You're being polite, you're being kind, but you're not being a pushover. You're not letting people talk down to a woman on the street. You're not afraid to not get involved. You're being a man. You're not being a bully. You're being a man. So all of this, you know, it's interesting to me. This is something that I've thought about a lot, and I heard it on a podcast again the other day. And I'm having a fellow Canadian on here. Ben Polsky is going to be on my Zoom call this weekend. You know, muscle intelligence, one of the smartest guys around.
100%.
So I was listening to one of his podcasts, and it reminded me of what LabCorp has done with the values of testosterone. So let's say it's 300 to 1200. Suddenly LabCorp, for whatever reason, and here goes my conspiracy theory mind, has taken those values and lowered them.
I'll tell you exactly why.
Okay,
But you keep going, but I'll jump on that. But keep going.
So if the low was 3 and the high was 12, and you went to your doctor at 299 and he's like, no, Funk, you're fine. But you're like, I'm crying. I don't have any sex drive. I'm getting fat. My mind is foggy. I don't have any desire in the boardroom or the bedroom. Come on, I don't feel like myself. Yeah, but the numbers say 299. You're only one below the bottom. But I'm like, well, I'm one below the bottom, dude. Don't you hear what you're saying? You know? So they don't get it. They don't understand. They don't study this stuff. And so now suddenly, they've taken this whole scale and lowered it down. They've taken the top end, which would make you optimal, like Andrizo, you know, and they're like, no. We don't want men to be men. We're going to make the lower even lower to F them up even more, and the optimal lower so they don't get so Andrizo and play the man and be the part. We're going to just kind of make their nuts a little bit smaller. We're going to shrink them babies down. So people walk around uninspired, not getting on the football field. They want every dude to be on the line going, damn, I wish I could do so. Enlighten me, brother. Educate me.
Yeah. So we used to have a naturopathic doctor, Dr. Dom. Her number one thing was hormones, specifically for men over 40. And she was always on the podcast. She had a child, so she's coming back. But she enlightened me on why this whole thing got lowered, why this whole testosterone thing got lowered. Because at first, again, the testosterone levels of men back in the 70s were way higher than they are right now. Not even talking men over 40. We're talking 25-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Everyone's testosterone levels have gone down. So guys come in, hey, your testosterone level is 300, your testosterone level is 200, it's 100, it's 100, it's 100, it's 150. It's like, what is going on here? Why is everyone coming in with 150? What's happening here? Well, guys, you know what? We better lower the threshold, because what's happening is so many men's testosterone is so many men's testosterone is low that for us to help a man or to put them on TRT, or which is generally what most doctors want to do, because they don't think men, and generally most men won't naturally do the things to help boost testosterone: nutrition, recovery, workouts, supplementation. That's what you're supposed to do. Naturally, you're supposed to naturally increase your T levels. But what happens is, oh God, now it's down to 200. Okay, well, let's just make the normal 200 first of all, the normal's crazy, 300 to whatever. So what doctors would rather do is go, okay, this guy's going to come in, he's at 200 or 199 or whatever it is. We're just going to put him on TRT. Like we're not even gonna sell him to do it naturally. We're just going to put him on TRT and that's it. And yeah, so she was explaining to me, I mean, your conspiracy theory 100% sounds right in there too, but she was just saying doctors just don't have time. They want to help they want to help their patients. That's what they want to do. So they know that most patients aren't going to do what they're supposed to do. How many times have people gone to the doctor, high cholesterol, blood pressure, doctor tells you what to do and you don't do it, right? So like, okay, I'm going to give you pills. I'm going to give you prescription pills. I'm going to give you TRT. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that. Well, what happens is no one addresses how to increase their testosterone levels. No one really addresses how that happens. And believe me, if this doesn't turn around, that threshold is going to get lower and lower. 100 is going to be the lower number. Imagine 100 being the lowest. Imagine a doctor telling you that your testosterone 150 and you're good. That's insane. That's insane.
They're out there. They exist. So it's like taking a test in school and flattening the curve of, okay, yeah, a D's fine. So we're gonna make D the average and now lower it down. So F is not like a thing anymore. We see FGH, like H is now a grade, right, which is completely failing, and F is okay. You can get away with it. You can get to college on an F. Like, when I was a kid, an F was like you didn't get to play football. You didn't get to do anything. So yeah. I thought of an ad, and you can run with this. We can both run with it, but imagine an ad on YouTube that pops up like this. You see a kind of slovenly looking older man, probably around our age, right? He doesn't, he's not either one of us.
Right. Out of shape. He's out of shape.
Yeah, he's out of shape. He's sitting there, and then it pops up on the screen. Would you trust this man with your health? And the obvious answer is no. So then the next scene, you see him putting on the white doctor coat and the stethoscope around his neck. And now you have that Dr. God syndrome. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but we have this syndrome in the world where instantly when we see someone with a white coat on and stethoscope around their neck, what they say is the gospel. Well, my doctor said, here's a call to action for anyone listening. Now, unless you're dying, unless you have some absolute sickness and illness that's going to be detrimental to your health, if you go in there and the doctor says, hey, you have the beginning stages of diabetes or high cholesterol, or we're seeing your numbers changing, I want to put you on X. Here's what I do every time. And it's only happened once. But my doctor looked at me and he said, really? I said, doc, give me 6. I said, I'm going to die? He's like, no, of course not. I said, okay, give me 6 weeks. He's like, really? I said, give me 6 weeks and I'll be back. And if at the end of 6 weeks, I still need this, then we'll do it. But until then, I need to at least try for myself. Well, yeah, what are you going to do? And I loved my doctor. Unfortunately, my insurance changed. We would have conversations. I would tell him, you're full of crap, doc. You don't know what you're talking about. Come on, bro. I'm not doing this. Are you crazy? If you go in there and say, yeah, I got chills, when I was talking to this guy, oh, you got anxiety. You better take this. Yeah. We're so quick, but we're so quick on both ends because this guy's wearing a white coat with a stethoscope. But if we would see him outside of that, and I ask you, would you trust that guy with your health, or would you trust me or fun? You'd go, shit, I trust you more than him because you at least look like you know what you're doing. Right. This guy doesn't. Just because there's some degree hanging on the wall does not necessarily mean they 100% know everything that they're talking about, specifically and especially when it comes to this. Totally. Even endocrinologists in today's day and age are in a path that they are refusing to get away from.
It's so funny you just said that. So in my program, the number one thing is to stop. For me, it's the guys come in, they want to lose weight, that, it's the aesthetics. And I say, okay, come in, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just come in. I'll help you lose the weight. But during the journey, it's the testosterone information and just teaching them about testosterone. So I make them all do or I try to get them all to do a testosterone test, home kit or whatever it is, right? Because that's where the base is going to be. And I want to prove to them that this program will naturally increase their testosterone levels. So every 3 months, everyone gets their T levels and they see it grow, like doubling, tripling, from guys coming at 150, getting to 300. And we try to get everyone to 800, because people always ask, where do I stop, Funk? I'm at 600. I'm at 750. I started at 200. Let's focus on 800. When we get to 800, we'll continue to move forward. But what happens a lot of the times is, you and I both know that the precursor to testosterone production is cholesterol. So you have to have cholesterol, good cholesterol, of course, not the bad cholesterol. So these guys will go into their doctor's office, they'll get all their tests, and the doctor will come back and go, hey man, your cholesterol's high. It's like, so then they come back to me and they're like, hey, Funk, the doctor told me that my cholesterol's high, but I've lost 30 pounds. I've got the 6-pack abs. My testosterone levels have increased by 200 points. They're just going down all of the good things. My blood pressure's down. I'm off these pills. But the doctor told me that my cholesterol levels are high. I'm like, yeah, of course. Is it good cholesterol or bad cholesterol? They didn't tell you that. They just said your cholesterol levels are high, but you need that cholesterol or else you have no testosterone. So what I do to these guys, I go, listen, no disrespect to your doctor, 100%, but your doctors are probably 70, 80, maybe some 90. They're older men who are just here. Some of them are just general practitioners who just stay in their lane and try to help as many people. They don't go outside to specialize. Of course, they're just GPs. So you have to go in with, you got to be able to question, right? You got to go in with a little bit of knowledge. Okay, yes, doctor, my cholesterol is high, but don't I need good cholesterol to spark testosterone? Is that good? You can ask your doctors questions. You can, rebuke things that they say, because some of the times they're just here. And they're just here. And Mark Sisson was on the Daily Apple. Mark Sisson, 70 years old. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast a couple of weeks ago, and he said that, like a lot of times cholesterol has been villainized, but as men, we need it. So here's, just like you said, Clark, it's like a lot of things are trying to to feminize us, right? Lower the testosterone scores, all of the things that we need to boost testosterone. No, cholesterol's high. You gotta decrease your cholesterol, which, I mean, I know in the 80s and 90s that was a big thing, but it's not anymore, guys. Okay. You need good
carbohydrates are there too.
That's massive. That's massive in what we talk about. You need those starchy, complex carbs for metabolism, they'll throw in the veganism and vegetarian and all the soy and all those things that are killing our testosterone, that are increasing our estrogen, right? Increasing our cortisol. It's it's crazy. So we're in a testosterone pandemic or epidemic, whatever it's called. What ways can we increase testosterone? What are some of the ways we can do that?
Well, a lot of what we were just talking about here. So understanding it's individualized. The flip side to what we were just talking about is true. Well, when you go to these hormone clinics, these TRT clinics, they're popping up everywhere because people see dollar signs. Yes. And then what happens is typically they'll go in, and guys, every single guy will get if you walked in and I walked in and Joe Smith walked in, and Joe Smith's 200 pounds, you're 185 lean, I'm 185 lean or whatever, we're all going to get 1 cc of testosterone. Mm-hmm. There's no, so they're just cattle, they're just pushing people through. Totally. So you got to be aware of that part of it too, if guys are going in to get that done, because it's not a general, it's a very, very detailed topic that needs people to do exactly what you said people don't do. Right. Take action on doing something for themselves, right? Not just accept the fact that, okay, I'm going to just give you a shot or this pill. You have to take the time to understand for yourself. One thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately, one thing I'll recommend to you as well, I don't know if you use Everlywell. You can become an affiliate through Everlywell to get the test done. That's what I have my guys do. They test free testosterone with saliva. They send it to your house, spin in it, but you can become an affiliate and make money off of the, and it's like $35. It's nothing.
Yeah, we do Let's Get Checked. We do Let's Get Checked. It's you just
Okay.
you just click your blood in, and they probably same thing, but it's blood. They send it to you, and then they give you back your results in like 5 days, and the doctor calls you or nurse calls you and talks about your results. So yeah, pretty much probably same thing.
So with respect to this being an individual thing, right? There's no real blanket approach to it, other than some of what we talk, the mindset, meals, movement, community, and all of that. But when you start drilling down and get to the micro level of it, it's really, you need to understand that, again, it's not a one size fits all model. So we can't just take our favorite social media person's advice, or even my advice, just blanket. You need to take control of your own health. And like you said, ask your doctor questions. So here's something that I've been thinking about lately as it relates to these different diets and these different ways that we can train and all of that. What I'm going to do with Everlywell is I'm going to get the food allergy test, because we age, we have a tendency to start getting allergies to certain foods that we used to before when we were younger. And as I'm thinking about this, with all of the confusion that's out there, carbs, no carbs, starch carbs, this carb, that, what do I do? And so people blindly jump in to these programs, just believing what they hear because it's compelling evidence.
Yes.
But if you can listen to 10 podcasts in a day and go, oh, why did I do this? I'm so confused now. I have to think. So taking control of your health and understanding if in fact there are any food allergies that you have, because that's going to cause inflammation and all sorts of things that we all agree that is the root of unhealthiness, is inflammation. So if we can deal with that first and foremost, we can understand it. And if it's as easy as spitting in a little tube and sending it off, and someone sending it back saying you're allergic to salmon and you've been eating salmon every day because you know that's going to get you lean and ripped. Well, if your body's reacting to that and it's getting inflamed, that salmon is not a good idea for you anymore. That's just the way it is. Yeah. So we're all individuals. We're all unique. We have a fingerprint that makes us different than everybody else. So to me, this is just my common sense thinking. I always say I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I'm the most practical guy in the room a lot of times. I'm like, Dan, just take a food allergy test. Find out what the hell you can't eat anymore.
Right.
Because it's a real thing.
Totally. Yeah. A lot of guys go in blindly, but here's the thing. We're throwing a lot at you. So some people are listening and going, okay, you talked about testosterone, talked about this, taking food allergies. Okay, where do I start? Because I think what happens to a lot of guys is they think they need to be. The good thing about working with men, just I want to have a side note, is if you give a guy instructions and a program, they will follow it. I find that you guys are amazing. You will follow the program. I've tried to work with women, and it's a whole different ball game. No disrespect to women. We have women of strength, but men are very good at, like, okay, I'm just going to follow exactly what you say. I'm not going to veer off. I'm not going to do anything else. And that's good at the beginning. When you're at the beginning of a program, you're doing the Nano Test Nation or Nano Test program, you're going to follow what Clark is telling you to do at first. Obviously, you're going to continue to follow it. But then after a while, once you get comfortable, right? Once you get into that consistency, like, okay, I'm getting this, I'm learning, I'm getting results. What's next? Okay, now we're going to get our food allergies, so that if you've been eating something that was in the nutrition or what have you, and you still didn't feel good about it, now we're going to find out, oh, maybe I can't eat that, but so I'll substitute, the salmon for chicken. Now I'm going to eat more chicken and not less salmon, and still get the macronutrients and micronutrients that I need. Or you get your blood checked or what have you. So now you're taking more control over your body. You do need the help of us at the beginning, and probably the support and coaching throughout. But once you get to a point, 3 months, maybe 2 months, probably 3 months is what I say. After 3 months, you got to start thinking about individualizing now. You got to start thinking, like you said, exactly what you said, get those tests done. Just more individual. Instead of buying regular chicken now you go to organic chicken, or now you go to organic. You don't have to go organic and change everything up 100% right away. Just get the basics down. And then as you get going, okay, now how can I, because remember, we're always trying to, keep going higher and higher. So that's when you add organic foods, or that's when you kind of add these little things, maybe push yourself a little bit more in the workouts, those type of things as you get better. So I think that was really good what you said about individualizing, very important.
Yeah, I think the first step for everybody, let's say someone is watching right now, they stumbled across this. So like, okay, I'm really excited. Here's what I want to do. What I have my guys do is write down everything they eat for 2 days. And this does a couple of things for me. One, I'm testing that person to see how compliant they are. Because a lot of guys will just right away go, oh, no, I didn't ask you to tell me what you ate. I asked you to write down what you ate. And I asked you for 2 reasons. One, I want to see how you're going to respond. And you just failed. And 2, I want you to see what you're consuming. Because there's studies at Harvard University that show that you will improve the way you eat simply by writing it down and be aware of it, because we consume food sometimes like chips and things like that unknowingly, and the calories continue to go through because there's this response to salt, fat, and sugar and crunching that we just get in this hypnotic kind of state with it becomes a rhythm.
I love it. Yeah. I think you got a new TikTok video right there.
Yeah. So that happens. And then suddenly you're like, oh, wow, I got all this salt. I got all this sugar in my body. And then all of these calories that are not doing anything. So when you see, oh, man, I ate a bag of chips last night. Then I say, just eliminate, one of those items. And like you said, we slowly indoctrinate them into the system, and then we become more aware. Being aware of what you're doing is vital. That's why it's so important, because otherwise we're just guessing at stuff, right? You really need to know where the blood has markers in it for a reason. It tells us about who we are, and it's not hard. Guys at our age don't do these most basic things because we're guys. That's one of the downfalls of being like a real man. I don't need to do that, you know what I mean? I've been this in 20 years. I'm like, that's why your teeth are jacked up, bro. Go to the dentist, get them cleaned. You know what I mean? And it's okay. In a colonoscopy, now I know I just jumped deep into here, but part of that. Like a colonoscopy is something I tell my guys go do all the time. I even went to the point to talk about being vulnerable. Why? I did a video of me at the end. I'm farting at the end, and I'm telling my wife, I'm Clark Bartram, and I'm just talking all this trash, and she's like, okay, we're ending this now. I'm like, no, keep it running. I want people to see. And I put it on. I put it up because I want people to see that I'm willing to do the things that I'm asking them to do, because what I'm asking them to do is preventative. And it's not, gay or something like that to have, a instrument put up your butt. Come on, man. Let's not be dumb and say stupid things. Let's be smart and understand that having a put there and you see a couple polyps, and you could prevent a lot of catastrophic events in the future just by being smart. And plus that Versed that they use, that's a nice little buzz when you're laying there high.
I got to get that done. I think I asked my doctor. He's like, no, you're too young. I don't know why I would say I'm too young, but whatever. Yeah, that's 100%.
Family, they gauge all of that, but yeah, right. It's important. It's important
for sure. And the taking care of yourself is huge. Specifically as we get older and get more comfortable with getting in better shape and doing the things like getting your feet done and, getting all these other little tests that will help us, like it just feeling good about yourself, right? Feeling good about the way you dress, feeling good about the way, because I'll tell you something, guys, as you get into better shape, as your testosterone levels start to rise, you're going to feel more confident. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more vigor. You're going to look better. Your aging is going to go down. You're going to have those 6-pack abs, or on the way to, you're going to feel more muscular because you're putting in the work. Like the benefits of your less stress, depression, all of those great things that happen when you boost your testosterone. So you're like you said, you're a new person. You're a new person, right? You're not the same guy that you were before.
Yeah, let's talk about this real quick with taking care of yourself. You mentioned clothes. So these are simple things, right? Like, I understand guys are like, well, I came here to get advice on testosterone. Well, you got more than enough so far, but here's something so basic that I want you to understand. We, as men, not me, don't take care of our skin, right? Our skin, it's the biggest organ on our body, right? I put lotion on. I've heard more guys tell me, and this is not me saying, and I'm not, no disrespect. Oh, dude, yeah, you put on lotion. What are you saying, bro? That's dumb. No, I'm taking care of my skin. How does that, what?
Yeah.
Exfoliate your skin.
Yep.
Like, so here's an example I always give. If we found that 2 Olds Supreme in the junkyard and the paint was oxidized and that thing looked good, if we went over there and got some wax that took that oxidation off and we revealed what was beautiful underneath all that oxidation, we were like, wow, man, this guy was dumb for getting rid of this. All I got to do is polish it up and it's going to look great. Your skin is no different. There is dead skin hovering on you that if you just take a little exfoliant, I promise you, if you rub it on your forehead and then just do this afterwards, you will look younger instantly, more vibrant, more vital, putting skin on your skin tightening stuff, getting a nice shirt. Yesterday, I just bought a really nice shirt online. I'm like, I like to have my clothes look, fit good. We talk about, remember the big movement of power posing, right? Like, raises your testosterone, like this, standing in these positions of authority, like I just won the Olympics, and yeah, that raises your testosterone. Well, so does putting on a nice shirt. Like this one makes me feel like it looks good on my arms. It fits me nice. People notice me. It's got a statement of like, play the man on there. This elevates me. And I know this sounds so basic, but this is real stuff, man. This is real life stuff compared to wearing a baggy shirt and some old jeans and, you got holes and you're slovenly looking. And it's just like, no, man, you don't need to be a model. You don't need to be perfect because no one ever is. But you want to be the best version of yourself. And that's all inclusive. Skin, hair, nails. Another thing my dad taught me was, dude, cut your nails. He used to check my fingernails when I would get in the car. He would look at them, and if they weren't clean and trimmed, back in the house, I had to scrub them, trim them. So every time I clip my nails, I think of my dad. And it's like, he said, son, if you just look good, man, people are going to respect you more. People are going to listen to you. People are looking. People are looking.
Always, man. When you don't even think they're looking. And you, man, everything you just said is incredible. I know, again, this is all part of the whole conversation. We jump from here to there and looking good and buying clothes that are more fitted now so that you look good. You can show off your physique, right? We have one guy, I'm going to just shout him out, Joey Scales. When he came into the program, he's mid-50s. His testosterone levels were super low. He was like 40 pounds overweight. When you look at his before, he looks disheveled and like broken. And then, 4 months later, he gave us a picture of him at his daughter's wedding, which he didn't think he'd be able to get to. And he looked amazing. Like his hair was slicked back, his face looked good. And then fast forward like 4 months later, and he just told me that he's got a girlfriend. He goes, guys, listen, I know I haven't been in the brotherhood, but I'm still doing the workouts. I'm still doing the program. His face looks great, but I got a girlfriend now. And you should he's always looks like top notch, 65 years old or 55 years old, new girlfriend, new life, new look on life, dressing to the T, man. No longer is he wearing all this baggy stuff. We got guys now who are starting to dress better. I'm going to try to get Anthony Centrino on the podcast, who talks like, he does all the because that's one of the things I want to teach these guys. It's like, listen, you're not that same guy. You got to dress well. You got to take care of your body. Go get pedicures, go get manicures, chill out with your wife and get a pedi and mani with her. You know what I mean? Like, just take care of your body. I've been lotioning my body for years and the scrubs and all that stuff. That's why we look young. That's why we feel young. That's why we feel good. Let's talk about Nano Test, your testosterone supplement. What is it? How does it work? And how can these guys get a hold of it?
So what I did is, with what you were talking about, you're like, Clark, what got you to where you're at today? And part of it was me being a spokesperson for other companies and having the fortunate opportunity and unfortunate opportunity to see happens oftentimes, not always, behind the scenes, where supplements are being made and some of the scandalous things that happens when men or companies are creating products. Mm-hmm. And when I saw a few things in particular, I was like, wow, this actually happens. People don't know this when they're buying these supplements. Mm-hmm. And something that I thought was really interesting back in the day, remember that product Metabolife?
Of course. Yes.
So Metabolife was like Metabolife 354.
Right.
When I heard where they came up with the 354, whether it's urban myth or what, I was blown away. The 354, from what I understand, was the cost to make that product.
$3.
If you remember, they were selling it for $75, $100 in kiosks and malls back in the late 80s and 90s.
Right.
So to take a product that costs $3.54 and sell it for 75, something is wrong, And then from that point, I started getting involved into the industry and seeing things like people doing fairy dusting, where they take an expensive ingredient and fairy dust it and hide it in the proprietary blend. That way they don't have to reveal the amounts, because they're not efficacious. They're not going to do the human body any good. They're probably not bioavailable. So I'm thinking to myself, someday I want to create my own product. And years ago, I had companies, put my brand on the product, but it wasn't mine. They were still making it. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
So there came a point in my life, which was October 3rd, 2021, when I turned 57 years old, when we launched Nanotest. This product is still in its infancy stages. We're not even a year old yet.
Right.
But there was a long lead up to that, thinking, I'm going to do this and I'm going to create my own. I'm going to control every aspect of the manufacturing and all of that. So I know what's in the label. I remember Lee Labrada said it on one of his campaigns. If it's on the label, it's in the bottle.
100%.
And I love that about Lee. And he's a trustworthy man of character. That's one guy that's really doing it right in this industry. So that was always played in my mind. So when I set out to create Nanotest, I went to a facility and I vetted out several of them, and I sat down with the guy and I looked at straight in his eye and I said, I want the world's best natural T booster. And that was it. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, and what? He goes, well, how much? How much do you want to pay for it? I said, however much it costs. Mm-hmm. He's like, wait a minute. You don't want it for like $10? And I'm like, no, I want the world's best natural T booster. He's like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. He lit up, and I have this on video. Like, this is all verifiable stuff. He said, Clark, never in my history of doing this have I had someone walk in here and not handcuff me to a number. Like, I want the world's best T booster for $10.
Right.
You didn't do that. Now you've allowed our formulators to actually create something that's going to work. So this whole nanotization thing is becoming part of our culture now. Everything, like you see nanotechnology in TVs, nanotechnology in robotics, all of this smaller stuff. So I thought, well, I want to create nanotized ingredients so they can attach to the cell receptors that they need to. They can pass the blood-brain barrier, do the things necessary, so they're more bioavailable to the human body than we can remember this too. There was a big vitamin company back in the day, and there was this, whether it was urban legend or not, I don't know, but they said they would find more undigested tablets in the bottom of porta potties, because, exactly. So I'm thinking, okay, all this time, this stuff has been playing in the background of my mind, right? And little did I know that someday it was all going to come to the surface and become a thing. Like, it's a thing now. So I was sitting right here at my desk, and it came to me. Like, I have a really good mind when it comes to marketing, and these things come to me. Sometimes the execution is not always the best, but it comes to me, and I thought, Nanotest. This is it. This is the name of the product, and that was it. So I went there, and they were nanotizing CBD products there. So they had the capability of doing it. So that's what we set out to do, was to make a product that's more bioavailable to the human body, meaning in layman's terms, that your body's going to actually utilize the nutrients, the micronutrients, and the whole plant extracts that are found in this product to facilitate the natural cascade of hormones by allowing your body to this beautiful cascade of this pathway in our body that gets affected through multitudes of different things: endocrine disruptors, xenoestrogens, stress, and all of these things we could talk about forever. But instead of doing something exogenous, like we talked about earlier, going to a doctor, taking an injection, then all of a sudden this pathway is being shut down because it comes back to the hypothalamus and says, shut it down. We got way too much already. The system goes down. So the nut shrink and all that sort of stuff. I didn't want that to happen.
No.
I wanted, the human body is so capable. Listen to me, people. Your human body that you're walking and living in right now, regardless of what it looks like or how it feels, is capable to heal itself. We need to provide it the right tools and apply them long enough to see the results that will come. And here's the beauty of it. We could teach you something right now that will absolutely change your physiology right now. So watch, just do this. Take a breath. One breath. I guarantee everybody that took one breath with intention, it changed. That's how quickly the human body can change and start to heal itself. The problem is it doesn't always manifest itself aesthetically quick enough for us, and then we jump to something else.
Right.
So I wanted to also let people know that, okay, I've created, in my opinion, what is the best natural T booster available. But I always say this, any supplement is only as good as the lifestyle that supports it.
Totally.
I don't care what anyone buys. I don't want anyone to buy my product and not allow me the privilege and opportunity to coach you on the other 4 lifestyle principles: mindset, meals, movement, community, and boom, you add in supplementation. Someone asked me yesterday, do I have to join your community? I'm like, no, but God, I want you to. Yes. And I did this long live yesterday because that inspired me. I'm like, my wife told me that. I'm like, you just inspired a video, turn on the camera, and I went off for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And my ad guys are like, this is an ad. This is great. Guys need to hear this. You know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of the stuff that you say, guys need to hear it. Man, so I'm speechless for 2 seconds because I'm just thinking about something, and I'm also got goosebumps because, the biggest thing that's missing in the supplement world, I believe, is the post-purchase support, the post-purchase coaching, the post-purchase love. Because if someone is buying a supplement, all you get is bombarded with supplement sales, which is fine. I mean, obviously, the supplement company, I have a supplement company, we want you to keep buying the supplement. But what every supplement company is missing, except yours, is that coaching, that support, that love, that, like for me, I just have my own little coaching thing in the supplement side, but you're taking it to the next level because you are selling the supplement and supporting it with the 4 or 5 other things that you need in order for this supplement to work to its fullest, right? I'm sure it still works without it, but that's not what you want. You want everything else: movement, mindset, meals, community. And that's going to, solidify not only your results, the byproduct of just doing those 4 things, but now you add the supplement and it's just like the levels. And the coaching, that's huge, man. That's people listening. That is massive. Imagine buying a supplement, getting it. Most of the times when people get the supplement, they have no clue how to use it, what the best time to use it, whatever else it is. They just get the supplement. Now you buy Nano Test, you get Clark, you get the community, you get all of the things that go with it: mindset, movement, meals, the community, everything else. And now you're going to get results. You're going to get that. You're going to get results.
So one of our taglines is the only supplement that comes with a coach. And one of my team members thought, you want to see something awesome? Yeah. Watch this. I'm going to try and show you this.
Of course I do.
So I believe I'm one of the only supplements, and I went back and forth with the doctor who helped formulate this as to the protocol for using it. So the way you use this product is 5 days on, 2 days off for 8 weeks on and 2 weeks off. And a lot of my guys were like, why do you want me to take off the supplement? I'm like, because you need to. You need to give your body a break. There's no stimulants in this, so there's really no adrenal demands that are placed. But I want to show you something that's really cool. This is the level that I am taking this product to. So watch this.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll work here.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Test in your hand. I'm so excited that you have it now.
What? Oh jeez. guys, what you're witnessing right now, people who are listening to this, is Clark just put his phone up to the box of Nano Test. So he had a box of Nano Test. He put his phone up, and you know how you have a RPC code or whatever that code is? QR code. You have the QR code. You put it up. You put your phone to the box, and a video comes up that explains that. That's freaking. You know I'm gonna bite that, right? You know I gotta bite it. Please,
so I'm going to send you.
May I bite that, please?
I'm going to send you the technology and the company that does this because it's brilliant. People are like, "What is that magic? How did you?" Because you're not taking people to a different. You saw the box became the movie player, and you can see the pictures and everything behind it. It's people freak out.
Totally.
So what I'm doing is each side of the box has a different thing. Like on the ingredients, I'm going to have the doctor talking about all the ingredients.
Powerful.
Yeah, and then on the inside, I talk about the 5 lifestyle principles. So all you got to do is just with your phone, point it, and I tell you everything you need to know. Man. So this is the level, like in something else. Like that box was horrible. When I started shipping them, I saw them getting beat up. I got rid of that box, and I bought new boxes with foil on it. Like I already upped my game as far as like the customer experience, because to me that's the biggest part. Totally. When my guys get it, so when someone orders Nano Test, they get, hold on here.
Yeah, no problem.
Real quick. We'll be right back.
Just if you're listening, he's going to get some more Nano Test stuff.
So the guys will get a signed magazine, which is me now, like at 57. They get the placard, they get a shaker cup, and they get the product. And I'm going to start adding now, because of your inspiration, I'm going to add in the Nanotest Nation shirt, official member of Nanotest Nation. Yeah. I've got my guys changing everything today, and I can't thank you enough for that inspiration that you did there. But again, customer experience, and that's another thing my dad taught me is vitally important, because people want to feel special, because the reality is they are. Everyone is special. But in today's business climate, some of my Amazon boxes that show up, I'm like, this is the largest company on planet Earth, and this is what they sent me? This is crap. Yeah. I can't even believe this. Like, I got one of my Nanotest boxes back because I brought back all my inventory. The box was this big, and Nanotest is this big, and it's shaking all over the place, beating up. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Yeah. And you're like me, where I really want people to feel, when you said love, you hit the nail on the head, because you saw my guys love each other. They love me. And that guy that was calling everybody filthy animals, you talked about dressing nicer. He was showing his belt. He was putting new holes in his belt. Speaking of Amazon, I went on Amazon, ordered a new belt, shipped it to his house. I said, put that one in a frame and put it on the wall, and put this one on your new body, bro, because you look awesome.
So okay, 2 last things. Number 1, where does someone get Nanotest? I want it. I already have testosterone. I want yours. Where do I get it? Seriously.
Nanotest.co, not com.co.
Okay, so nanotest.co. I'm going to put, there's obviously going to be links where you're listening to this, and then nanotest.co. This is just for my editor. Make sure you put the nanotest.co across the board on this video as well. And the last thing I want to say is if you're listening to this right now, the big thing that you should be getting from Clark right now is he's very results driven. Like, he's telling you about the things that he's doing in order to ensure that the customer experience, or the client experience is above, better than what you would pay, better than what over excels right on what he's doing. And when you have someone who's results driven, who's driven by results, who doesn't care really about, just come in and give me your money, and then all the information's here. Just come in, give me your money, buy this program, and then all the information, you can just get all that information. Don't worry. I just want people to come in, and just focusing on the front end and not on the results and the coaching and the support. Guys, when you have somebody like that, you got to cling on to that person. You've got to hold on to that person. You have to open up, trust the process, because Clark's lived this process. At the beginning of this podcast, I went through all of the things that, all the things that he's done, like on all like elite levels, high levels. This guy was, you were the body double for Batman in a movie. Like,
Played Batman in.
Okay. Oh, right. Yes, that's right. Oh my God. Yeah. Not only was I the body double of Batman, but yes. So guys, that's like, I mean, right? Like covers, magazines, TV, everything. Like, so when you have someone like this, that's really bigger than life. If you look at all your achievements, you would be put on a bigger than life pedestal, right? Like, you live it. But when you have someone like that in your corner that may help you get results, if you're listening to this right now, dude, you have to cling on. You have to trust. You have to be part of that community. You have to be part of what Clark is giving you, because he's giving everything that he has, everything that he's learned, to make sure and continue to learn, because you're continuing to learn. And that is priceless. That's worth thousands. You guys should be paying thousands of dollars, like literally thousands with what Clark gives you. So when you have someone results driven, you have to cling on to that person, because there's maybe 0.5% of the people out there, people, to tell you the truth, that are results driven. Okay. I'm in this fitness industry. I see it all the time. Okay. Influencers aren't results driven. They just want likes. So when you see all these people posting Instagram, Facebook, and they got 1 million followers, like, oh, this guy must be huge. No, he's just an influencer, or she's just an influencer. They're just bouncing around doing crazy exercise you can never do, so that they can get likes, so that they can be product ambassadors and make money that way. So your interest is not even there. Okay. You're just a like. You're just a like. So think about that. You're just a like, a follow, you're a subscription, so that they can make the money. You'd go on the other end to people who don't care about likes, don't care about subscriptions. The only thing Clark cares about is your results. And he's going to put everything into you getting the results you need, knowing that you're same age, live the same life, knows all of the things you need: meals, mindset, move, community, supplementation. It's a no-brainer, because again, we are in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. We don't have a lot of margin for error. Clark and I talked about this. Not saying that we can't get in the best shape of our life, 100%. We can get six-pack abs in our 60s, 100%. It's just the margin is here. We can't eat the same way. We can't work out the same way. But once you follow someone who's results driven, like Clark, again, I'm going to drop that to 0.2% of the people out there. I'm going to really drop that down. Seriously. I don't know many people out there that are results driven, which means they focus more on the inside of their business than they do out. Yes, they're still driving people in, but when you're focusing on the inside, man, oh, that's the person you want to live with, and you want to breathe with, and you want to lock arms with. Clark, any last words for these men listening to this freaking podcast?
I love you, brother. I really do. And I'm so grateful that we have now started this friendship and this bond, and iron sharpening iron, because I believe, even from a distance, and even as, infrequent it may be, the level of impact that we can have now that we've had this opportunity to rub shoulders and really get inspired by each other, and see that there is no competition in this world. It's about taking the gifts and the talents and the calling that we both have very clearly, and using it to benefit men out there who feel like giving up, who may have already given up, what we're saying collectively together. And I love the fact that I am the white Funk Roberts and you are the black Clark Bartram, because that speaks on another level of stuff that this world is experiencing right now, that we're just blowing through and saying, look, you're looking at two men here that, God, I'm freaking gonna cry.
Me too. Right here. Yeah. Me too, man. Me too.
That are committed to doing something in the face and in the midst of a social climate that's blowing in our face and saying, no, no, no. We're saying, yes, let's go. Yes. So, brother, in all honesty, thank you so much for this. I'm fired up. I don't know whether I need to go to sleep for the rest of the night, because I'm just, or I need to go work out again, or I need to go have sex with my wife, or all of it.
Totally. Thank you so much for being on this podcast, man. You are been an inspiration to me from the time when I was in high school in the 80s to today, and and moving forward. It's been incredible to have you on here. Yeah, man, this has been great. We're gonna have you on again. This is gonna be we'll just consistently touch base, get you on the podcast, whatever new things are coming up and things you want to share, for sure. Guys, all of the information to follow. Again, last thing, how is it just nanotest.co? Where else can they reach you?
So if anyone wants to join the community online, it's clarkbartram.co/join the group. clarkbartram.co/join the group.
Okay, get on that group. That's the Facebook group, right?
That's the Facebook. And then if guys don't want to be on Facebook, we email them all the information. There's a free 6-week program that I give them. But I prefer that everyone's in the community because we've discussed that already.
Yeah, listen, if you're not on Facebook, just make a Facebook profile. Don't worry about it being public. Just make it for Clark's group. Don't worry about having to post stuff on it. You can be anonymous, but what you want is that support and that love. So thank you so much, my brother, for being on this podcast. We will see you soon. I'll get that nano test as well.
I'm going to send you something. I'm going to send you a care package.
That's awesome. Awesome. Thanks, brother. And everyone else, talk to you soon.